Gotta get through this so I can raid more arcs. Let's talk. What up, viewers? What up? What up? Calc Soups here, and today is Friday, November 7th, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. The biggest news this week was probably that the biggest game of 2026 has been pushed out. Well, it's been delayed 6 months. I'm talking about GTA 6. After reassurances from the head of Take-Two that the date wouldn't move, even though they announced it 13 months before the actual date, it has moved. It has moved from May 26th of next year to November 19th, pushing it out almost 6 months. Take-Two's stock was immediately taking a hit because it's been 13 years since they released a, quadruple A game. So definitely can imagine that investors are not happy about that. I would almost say that November 19th is late enough in the year that you could just push it again. But I don't want to kind of put that juju out into the ether. But GTA 6 has now been pushed out. It'll probably still, even if it does hit that date, which, as I said, I'm a little skeptical of, it will probably still be the biggest game of the year. So I digress. But yeah, massive news. They need 6 more months in the oven. Cyberpunk even tweeted at them saying, hey, don't rush it like we did. And, Cyberpunk notably had a very terrible launch. I will always say that it's because they put it on old gen, but that's just my opinion, man. So GTA 6, we're going to have to wait for the next evolution in video games, 6 more months towards the end of 2026. Speaking of games actually coming out, the latest Hyrule Warriors game, Age of Imprisonment, is the third Hyrule Warriors game and the second in the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom prequel games. So this takes you through the prequel times introduced in Tears of the Kingdom, but it's a typical Hyrule Warriors game where you play several different characters, you run around a battlefield and kind of mow through hundreds of enemies. I've got a link down below that'll kind of teach you how the combat system works. As someone who played Age of Calamity, it was a little convoluted, so I probably could have used an explainer on how to hop into that. It's currently got a 79 Metacritic, which is the highest for the series of the Hyrule Warriors games, so they seem to be continuously improving, a few points here or there. I ultimately love anything with Zelda in it, and could definitely, I'm adding this to my backlog because I'm too busy arc rating, but looking forward to picking up Age of Imprisonment potentially over the winter break. We are finally seeing the ramifications of Disney's heavy investment in Epic, in that Fortnite now has Disneyland in it, or several rides from Disneyland have been ported into Fortnite. You can ride around on several of the rides. We've already seen kind of Star Wars skins, and Simpsons have been going on for the last couple weeks or whatever, but bringing in an entire theme park seems like the big investment, and I bet this kind of helps with, I don't know if it's awareness, but it definitely brings attention to, hey, go to the theme parks, which is where they probably make massive amounts of money. Disneyland, as I'm surprised they're not going to be marketing at Disneyland that says, as seen in Fortnite, the Matterhorn or the Haunted Mansion or whatever. But I digress. You can, right? You don't need to pay hundreds of dollars to get in the gates of Disneyland. You can just load in and ride the rides in Fortnite. Moving on, Telltale seems to be back, and they're hitting the ground running. The latest Telltale-like from ex-Telltale developers, Dispatch, launched last week, and it hit its significant milestone in the first week. It sold 1 million units. It's actually got its next two... I think it was a couple weeks ago. Dispatch was mid-October. So it's been a couple weeks, but they hit 1 million units, which is awesome. The final 2 episodes of the 6-episode arc or season come out next week. So once that's kind of all out, maybe that's when I'll hop in. I love Telltale games. I grew up playing them, so and that's what kind of inspired me to start streaming. So I will probably pick up Dispatch, and it just looks like a really interesting story. It's a Telltale-like, except for you play undercover superhero ? So it'd be interesting to see how they play that out and what kind of changes are new and exciting to the Telltale formula. Speaking of sales records, Nintendo is kind of gloating and reveling in the fact that they've sold 10 million units as of the end of September. So in the latest earnings call, they said that they sold 10 million units of Switch 2, which is interesting because as a group of, as me and my friends are very entrenched Nintendo fanboys and players of Nintendo console games, um, and none of us have gotten one yet. Also, uh, there's product on shelves, which I would originally have expected meant that it's not as popular. But I also am wondering if this is a reaction to the original Nintendo Switch like selling out and the Wii selling out. So like they're finally meeting demand, and since you can just walk in and buy one, people are actually probably doing that, and that's resulted in potentially record breaking, like the fastest selling console of all time, which was kind of thrown around this week. So I'm curious how accurate that is. But pretty exciting stuff if it is true. And I'm surprised considering all of the hoopla that went around with the price point. I assume it's going to sell another several million units so that people can have a Switch 2 under their Christmas tree in Q4. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this trend continues. But yeah, I would have originally expected that, as a, an older generation of millennials not buying it, and there being product on shelves, I would have assumed it wasn't selling, but maybe it is because it's available, which is something that hasn't been true for previous Nintendo consoles. The lights are always green in Netflix, and I swear I don't have a bug in my ass about Netflix, but Netflix is in the news this week, greenlighting another show. The hit popular cooking party game Overcooked is being turned into a cooking challenge show, which I doubt they're going to be cooking on like high speed trucks and jumping from truck to truck like you do in Overcooked. But it'd be interesting to see what a like live action cooking challenge show looks like that's got that Overcooked look and feel to it. So yeah, I love all the Overcooked games. I just think it's funny that Netflix is greenlighting every random cookie concept, and we're hearing about one every week, as I've been talking about this for, I don't know, a month now. So yeah, it's kind of funny. I'm excited to see what they do with Overcooked, but it also has to make it to full-on production, which is not what a green light is. So, but interesting stuff if that does come to fruition. Speaking of Arc Raiders, I've been playing way too much, so I'm excited to talk about the game. It has reached 2.5 million players in its first week, which at $40 a pop amounts to over $100 million, plus all the in-game MTX and stuff like that. So yeah, they're well over $100 million, which is awesome. I hope they continue to support the game. My only qualms are with the like monetization, but yeah, otherwise I'm loving everything about it. I love that the community is so like casual and willing to work together, especially in those solo queues. So I'm excited to see what they do with Arc Raiders, and hopefully this kind of influx of cash helps them develop more content for the game. Unfortunately, the games layoffs have not stopped. We've got another big one this week. Square Enix has laid off lots of people. We don't quite know the full extent of it, but this is cross division, cross regions. This just seems like a big cut across the board, all over the place. So if you have any friends at Square Enix, which I assume a lot of people on this distro do, you should reach out to them, make sure that your friends are okay, and prep for any ex-Square Enix people to potentially get a job anywhere else in the games industry, because it's tough going out there. So hopefully those people land on their feet. Like I said, we don't know quite the big extent of it, but I've heard of hundreds of employees being let off in a couple different areas. So it could be pretty big, but we don't know the full extent yet, unfortunately. It does warm my heart to see all the content coming out for Dead by Daylight. Anytime I'm talking about Dead by Daylight, the asymmetrical horror game, it's always about the new content that's coming to the game, which almost a decade later is exciting to see. They continue to collect horror IPs with Pyramid Head from Silent Hill entering this week, and then, or maybe it's later this month. And then Dracula from Castlevania is also coming to Dead by Daylight. which means that there's going to be a whole new, new killers, new maps to go with those characters. Lots of fun and exciting stuff to do there. Pyramid Head from Silent Hill definitely, I thought, was already in the game, so glad to see that they're finally here. But yeah, I just am a big fan of Dead by Daylight and excited to see all the new characters that always get added alongside Nicolas Cage and Mike Myers and Freddy Krueger and all them. Last but not least for this week, the developers of Bolt Gun, the Doom-like first-person shooter set in the 40K universe, are making a new game coming out next year, and it is a Vampire Survivor-like, aptly called Warhammer Survivors. And yeah, you play as like a space marine, and maybe there's even a fantasy element to that. I didn't quite understand what was going on there. You might even be able to play as the Emperor of Mankind, but you run around as a space marine and auto shoot with your bolter or swing with your chainsword at Tyranids, and yeah, you'll level up in the typical Survivors formula. So the Bolt Gun crew seems to be doing a lot. They've got the Teach Us Typing game. Bolt Gun is an awesome game. Hopefully they're working on a sequel, and now they're working on Warhammer Survivors. So excited to see the stuff coming out of that crew, and I always like more Warhammer games being that I will probably play. So looking forward to that. But that's it for this week. Let me know if you feel I forgot anything down below in the comments. But as always, thanks for watching. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Bye!